Welcome to Lakes Community High School for the 2022 Sounds of the Stadium, featuring the Sound of Lakes Marching Band. We bring on the pride of Lake County with Director of Bands, Matthew Castor, Assistant Band Director in Brass and Visual Instruction, Elliot Heil, Color Guard by Amanda Houston, Woodwind Instruction by Sandy Gravette, and our percussion instructor, Brian Choppy Massimo. And under the field and stage direction of drum majors, Jenna Mack and Ian Murphy. This evening's music features halftime selections and songs that are played during our games at Poly Field. We invite you to clap and sing along for our first selection, which is our very own LCHS Fight Song. The first part of our concert will feature stands cheers and tunes that we played during games at Poly Field. The first one is one that we play when we see a particularly exciting play on the field that you might see on a highlight reel. This is ESPN. Next, we feature a regal fanfare that is suited to inspire us all. Here is Eagle Fanfare. As the band shows everyone that this is the way, here is a theme based on the show The Mandalorian. This is In the Tunnel. These next two selections help our team take the field, whether on offense or on defense. Here is the chants called Offense and Defense. Here's a particularly bouncy and swinging theme that we call Leapfrog. This next one is very familiar and was first popularized by the University of Michigan Marching Band. Here is Go Blue Go. The last of our stands cheers has grown to be a favorite of both the band and the student section, and you'll see evidence of that in any game on Poly Field. Here is Seven Nation Army. At this time, we'd like to make sure that we recognize a few groups of people in the audience that make it all possible. You've seen us perform, and you know it takes so much more than just the notes and rhythms on the page and the students on the field. It takes a supporting cast of parent volunteers to help us move this thing down the road and put our students in the best spot that we can. So if I could just have the house lights come up to maybe a half so that we can see some of the folks here in the audience that we'll recognize before we recognize our seniors that are playing their last time as part of the marching band. But first, some parent volunteers, spearheaded by our band liaisons. Let's give a big hand to Jeff and Krista Shumo. They're the ones that put together the sign-up genius and help really put it all together for you as the parent army. So speaking of that, if you helped out at any point through the season as a parent volunteer, would you please rise at this point right where you're at and be recognized by your audience peers for all the work you did to help these students make it happen? Next, we want to recognize all of our band staff. These are our section leaders and our student leaders that help us with all the behind-the-scenes things. While we're keeping our two concerts, in two halves, a lot of what you see, the decorations for our Halloween concert coming up at 7:30, was done by the band staff. And a lot of little things that add up to big, big effort. So at this point, any band staff members that are in the band, section leaders, would you please rise and be recognized for your hard work? As I mentioned, tonight is the first of the lasts for the class of 2023. It is their last time to play here on stage wearing the blue or white jacket, and I hope that they have enjoyed their time, and I know I've learned just as much from them as I hope I have been able to teach them. So at this time, would all of our seniors, where they're at, come out to the front of the stage, and senior parents, this would be a great time to get a pic of our seniors as a group, so if you want to get yourself ready for that. But seniors, if you can make your way out of the setup and just go ahead and line yourselves up right here in the front. Jenna and Ian, why don't you guys go on either end? That would be awesome, and bookend that line, and then seniors come on up, and let's give them, once they get set up, let's give them a big rousing Sounds of the Stadium applause. The class of 2023. In our last rehearsal, we do a tradition where we take a moment to recognize the seniors, and we each go up and say something to them. And I want to make sure that I say to you what I said to them at that time. You know, as I look back over the years, and I think when this part of my life is all said and done, this group of students will be some of the ones that I'll be the most proud of and remember the most, because they saved the program through some really difficult and challenging times. Thank you for all your hard work and all your dedication. All right, seniors, let's go back and let's play the show one more time. Yeah, so speaking of the show, as they get back to their seats, the title of the show, of course, is Synchronicity, and it was really a pleasure to put together, first as an idea, as a thought of, hey, this is some really great music, and I love seeing, I shouldn't say I love, because it's not up to me, it's just, it's a great trend in our music that pop music from the 70s, 80s, and 60s is making its way onto our stage and into our sort of classic curriculum. And The Police, Synchronicity, is one example of that. It's quality music, it has stood the test of time, and we're happy to put this show together that features themes and colors. If you remember the album with the blue, yellow, red, we use that as a inspiration to have our color scheme be blue, yellow, red as we put it together. So want to thank our creative staff for doing that, for helping make this thing happen, from an idea in my mind as I'm thinking about a show to having it ready pre-COVID, putting it on the shelf, and then saying, hey, I think this show still works a couple years later. And we all agreed, like, yep, it still works, let's do it. I think this is a great group to do this with. So our first movement starts with Synchronicity 2. Then the next one is a mashup between Wrapped Around Your Finger and King of Pain. And then the last one, because we wanted our audience and our judging panels to be saying synchronicity at the end of the show, so there was no way that they couldn't, like, get it. So that's why we put Synchronicity 1 at the end, so that the very name of the show would be some of the last statements that we play as we were on the field. So at this point, I will get out of the way, and under the stage direction of drum majors Jenna Mack and Ian Murphy, the Lakes Community High School Fine Arts Department is proud to present the Sound of Lakes Marching Band and their 2022 halftime show, Synchronicity. Before we finish up with our last selection, which will welcome a guest conductor to the stage, I do want to take this moment to direct your attention into some other articles that are in your programs. First of all, the personnel of the band. You know, we couldn't do it without the people, because in the end, it's about people when we're working, and this is a people business, so it's nice to see all of their names together. Next, we want to congratulate, we had almost a dozen students across the music department audition for the ILMEA District 7 band, which our district is the most competitive in the state. And we're proud to announce that Patrick Dortch, Andrew Cook, Kiara Kogart, and Andrew Cook for jazz band, 2 groups, and Lincoln Gibbs were selected to represent our music department at the ILMEA District 7 Honors Ensemble. So a big hand for them. You also see a blurb about Friends of the Arts, and there's a little bit of history. That first paragraph gives you a little bit of history behind the group. And then contact our president, Michelle Torkelson, is a great contact for that if you're interested with membership or additional information. And then the biggest question we get is, what does FOA do? Well, we sat down and made a list of all the different things that FOA does, and that list is continually growing. And we're ready to have that list continue to grow. So if you are interested in getting involved in a big way or in a small way, Friends of the Arts is there to give you that opportunity. And we're also proud to let you know that Friends of the Arts is part of the Lakes Eagle Booster Club, is all under one big umbrella. So that link that you see listed in your program, that membership link is open the whole school year. So if you're not yet a member of Lakes Eagle Booster Club, you can do that and give to Friends of the Arts and join Friends of the Arts at the same time. It's all one big happy family, just with sort of different committees within that group. The FOA website is listed there. That's the one, if you go to our music page and click on Parents, that's right where this will take you, and you can get more information and forms about Friends of the Arts in that spot. Also, we have a presence on social media, and so all of our various social media things are listed in that insert. On the back side of your program, we have some announcements about acknowledgments. I'd like to first make sure that we acknowledge all of our administration and board members. They're part of the team that helps us, supports us at the next level and makes this possible. As your department chair, I'm proud to be part of that team and work with all of those talented and caring individuals that are listed underneath our acknowledgments to make this happen for our students. As we move up the page, you might have seen Bright Spot Friday. That's something fun that we started to do a few years ago and reinstated it this year, where we feature a student or group of students that have really been working pretty hard, very hard, I should say, within the contents of our band. And we want to recognize that as a bright spot in our band on a Friday. Also, then we have announcements about our Disney trip. We have gone through a couple of dates, and I understand the frustration on that. We're just trying to make sure we give that opportunity for as many students and get the performance opportunities that we want once we get down there. So the date that we have submitted to the board to be approved at November is that June 2 through 6, so that we can get back and have summer school be intact for our talented and hardworking musicians. More to come for a parent meeting and deposit collection for a date in November, and we will publish that date very shortly. Upcoming events are listed there as well, and that's what you have in your program. So you can take that with you and use that as a reference as we move down the road. It's also been a tradition for our Sounds of the Stadium that I sign one of the programs. This is an idea that I took from a concert that I went to as an audience member, and I thought that's really neat. Normally, I would let that be random, and I would let anybody, I would just put that stack in that program in the stack, and whoever picks it out, picks it out. And we've had some really neat coincidences, little brothers and sisters of people in the band who have ended up playing in the band. But this time, I wanted to make sure that a particular individual got this program because he's been with us for several years. He's had 3 students go through. He's responsible for all of the props that you see on stage. The one that I'll remember the most is the Torii Gates from the Sakura show, where, when we went down to U of I and it was like gale force winds and they didn't want to let us take it on there, and I was like, I know that we built this. I could speak to the band director there and in total confidence, because I knew the work that Brad Wiegold had done on those things to make them withstand anything. So at this point, because I made sure that he got it, because his final student, Annie, is a senior in our group, and I'm sure we won't be able to keep him away, but it is a passage of time, and I want to recognize that and recognize his service by giving him a chance to come up here on stage and direct the band. So Brad, if you would, come on down. You've worked behind the scenes for us so many times. I think it's time for you to get in front of the band, right? All right, they'll roll it off for you, and you take it away. Ladies and gentlemen, performing the Lakes Community High School fight song under the direction of guest conductor Brad Wiegold, here's the sound of Lakes. Once again, thank you so much for your time and dedication and support throughout the season. This concludes the first half of our concert tonight, The Sounds of the Stadium. Stay tuned for our 7:30 Halloween concert. Until then.